I gotta say something. I try as much as I possibly can to be as different as I can from everybody else. Uniqueness allows you to stand out, both good and bad. But being unique is always the best thing you could possibly be. More about that later, but I have to agree with what I saw as a pretty much an overwhelming general consensus of the internet wrestling community this week is that there were some highlights on Raw, but a lot of the show was skippable, forgettable, if not flat out regrettable. And the ironic thing is Betty White really played no role in that. If anything, Betty White was a positive on this show. Yeah, it's kind of what you got this week. Indeed. I do have to point out, because I know people are going to ask me, hashtag Raw is White during Black History Month. Really, WWE? It's like it transcends pissing me off to the fact that it is such troll logic that it almost humors me. Because it sounds like the type of shit that I would do to get back at people. Hashtag Raw is White during Black History Month. Vince wouldn't have it any other way, brother. It's going to be one of those Raw reviews. When Betty White came out at the start of the show and said that she was here to kick ass, I popped. I thought, that's really damn cool. And I hope the rest of the Raw roster is ready to kick ass this week. I only wish I would have followed her lead. It was cool to see Betty White. The stuff that she did was okay. It didn't overwhelm the show. It was done in bits and pieces. And I don't have a problem when you bring in people like this from the mainstream to make these type of appearances. Because, again, it was small. You weaved it into little parts of the show, and it didn't really overwhelm anything. And, in fact, her appearance I thought was kind of cool. Whatever. Kind of filling that Mae Young role. Was I the only person that thought that it was no small coincidence that Mark Henry was coming back this week when Betty White was going to be a guest on the show? Just saying, maybe they're going to have a foot in 9 months. I don't know. But sadly, the tone for this show to me was really set with this opening segment because, just like the main event, it feels like I'm stuck in Groundhog Day over and over and over and over again. It seems like the WWE, I don't know if there's some cost-cutting maneuvers that have led to them cutting back on the amount of paper they use to write their scripts. But how many weeks are you going to sit there and basically start off with the same type of promo with Stephanie and Triple H and then eventually Randy Orton? And I know a lot of you have your flaming keyboard fingers on fire ready to roll, saying, how dare you show Betty Daniel Bryan was in this segment? It was the most awesome fucking segment of the night. To be realistic, by the time I got to Daniel Bryan, it didn't even matter to me. I was zoned out. They gave him the night off, and if I'm Daniel Bryan, I'm like, yeah, let me roll out at this bitch. Let's go to LA and hit some joints. Because, you got the crowd kind of into it, kind of chanting, and then they start to lose interest, and you've got Stephanie and Randy in particular just sounding so phony and so scripted. And I'm sitting there saying, you basically do the same thing every week. It's not hard to figure out why you sound scripted, but you've had a lot of practice to do the same stuff. Why do you sound so scripted? Don't you practice this stuff ahead of time? I don't know if it's just the curse of having the scripted promo. I don't know. But it was not good. Did anybody else notice when Christian was doing that old-style vignette promo that he was sitting there talking about being the face of the WWE and he had that Ryback-looking black eye? Wow. That would be like having me be the face of the WWE with my ridiculous right eye twitch that a lot of you seem to notice, and it seems to get more pronounced as time goes along. Could you imagine that? Me sitting there saying, well, look at me. I'm the face of the YWC, and I'm going to be the face of the WWE. It would stand out. You'd notice. And you'd probably have a good couple of chuckles about it. And I did at Christian's expense, no question. Sheamus and Christian versus the Real Americans. I have to wonder how much longer they are going to go against the grain with Cesaro. Because this guy needs to be turned babyface. That's where the crowd wants him to go. That's where this company needs him to go. What I really appreciate about Cesaro is the fact of, regardless of what they give him, and they give him a lot of dumb shit. Remember they had him as a Swiss rugby guy for some stupid fucking reason, and now they've got him with the Real Americans for really some stupid fucking reason. He makes the most out of whatever he's given. And he gets everything he possibly can out of it. And that's how guys get over. I'm a big fan of Cesaro. I was back in ROH. He used to be one of the few reasons I even wanted to watch ROH was him and Hero as the Kings of Wrestling. I love that tag team, and I was a huge Claudio Castagnoli fan. And I love his ring work. I love his physical style. I love the fact that, to me, he looks a little unique. He acts a little unique. And I appreciate and respect the fact that he does what he can to get himself as over as he possibly can with the time that he's allowed to do that. I have a lot of respect for that. You know, of course, WWE was going to have Sheamus and Christian with this fucking tag match, you know, God forbid, and not get any closer to turning Cesaro babyface, which, again, is what needed to happen. Why couldn't you have Cesaro pin Christian here? You know, give the fans a moment. I mean, you already don't like Christian as the WWE. You don't. So why not give Cesaro this moment? You know, why not? Why not give him a bit of a push in 2014? You've already got him in the chamber match. Why not establish some credibility? I could say whatever I want about Christian, but the bottom line is he's a former multi-time world champion, you know, several times mid-card champion and tag team champion. He has a pedigree. He has a resume. People buy him in the Elimination Chamber match. You need to establish Antonio Cesaro. You don't need to fucking establish Sheamus. The stupid crap of always having to have the damn baby faces win, especially certain baby faces that go to a club that serves breakfast. You know, I gotta sit there and say, I actually am starting to feel bad for Dolph Ziggler. And I feel really bad for Dolph Ziggler fans. You guys like him. I swear to God, the WWE can't stand his ass. They must look at him and be like, well, CM Punk quit like a whining bitch, so we're going to take it off on Dolph Ziggler, son bitch. Man. They didn't even let him get his whole entrance in before ADR's music cut on. I'm like, wow, this guy's jobbing out quick as shit. And he did. Woo! And then afterwards, Batista comes, makes the save. I'm sure that made a lot of you happy. And this is our hero, Dolph Ziggler, and here comes that freaking Humpty Dumpty looking damn Dave Batista to come save us the day. I'm sorry, guys. I legitimately feel bad for you. You know, not only are we going to have to suffer through ADR getting a big match against Batista at Elimination Chamber, but your boy, Dolph Ziggler, man. Whew. What are these reports I hear about Miz doing this crap every week, kind of a spoof of CM Punk, and then also at the same time they're going to maybe put him and Dolph Ziggler together as a tag team? Oh, I'm sure that's going to set the whole frickin' wrestling world on fire. So, a big thing happened during this week's Raw. The next member of the 2014 WWE Hall of Fame class has been announced, and frankly, another big name. The WWE is really knocking it out of the park with this Hall of Fame class this year. So far, you've got the Ultimate Warrior, you've got Jake the Snake Roberts, and then you have, beyond question, one of your greatest divas ever, Lita, getting her rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. A well-deserved honor. And, you know, I think back on Lita and I'm like, man, you know, people like her and Trish, those are divas. You know, they all had their qualities to them. They could go in the ring. They looked great to different people. You know, some people obviously preferred Trish and some people, frankly, preferred Lita. They had different styles. They had different characters. They had different personas and attitudes, different looks. And, man, what happened to those divas? Remember when a lot of you, the older fans, you remember when you used to crap on segments involving people like Trish and Lita? Yeah, you wish you could have them now. Sometimes we don't appreciate what we've got until it's gone. And I think about somebody that was once one of the Godfather's hoes and used to come out with Essa Rios to go on to become one of the greatest divas and most influential divas in the company's history, and now a 2014 WWE Hall of Famer. Hopefully Trish Stratus will be the individual to induct her. It only seems to make sense, like it should have been Lita to induct Trish, not what ended up happening. But again, a great honor, well-deserved. And the Twitter sphere went berserk once this happened, as they should have. A big name, and again, you know, at this point in time, I'm more interested if I'm a fan, in going to the Hall of Fame ceremony the night before WrestleMania than WrestleMania 30 itself. I think if you did a poll of most fans at this point, especially most fans that come on the internet and talk about professional wrestling, the match that they are most looking forward to at Elimination Chamber is the Shield versus the Wyatt family. And I understand there's so many things going for this match heading into it. There are so many different possibilities, and there are so many potential big-time future players in this company in this one match. To me, this is the match that should kick off the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and in and of itself should be an Elimination Chamber match. Kind of, in a way, feeding off the old War Games philosophy to a certain degree. That's what I think it should be. But man, oh man, I tell you what, they did a really good job of doing stuff with these two teams this week and really building a lot of interest in that pay-per-view match. You can make money doing that if you keep doing it. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Like the Wyatts sitting there and wrestling against the Rhodes brothers and Rey Mysterio. These guys are putting on great matches. They're kicking ass. They've got unique characters. Bray Wyatt's a hell of a character. He's very unique. He's a great front man for a group. He's great on the mic. And like I said, they're going out there and they're tearing down the house with some really damn good matches. That's how you make stars. That's how you make potential future top guys. And then you have the Shield backstage, and Renee Young's asking Ambrose about the United States Championship and why he hasn't put it on the line. And he's coming up with all these excuses about paperwork. I'm like, oh, this is classic shit right here. But, they're planting the seed that Reigns or Rollins could potentially, come after that belt. Sets up to the big return of Mark Henry. I loved earlier how they emphasized Roman Reigns' dominance at the Royal Rumble. They see a big dude that looks good. They're going to push this mother humper to the moon. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. My only concern is that when it gets to that point, as it so often does in the WWE, when you can get a guy to threaten Cena's level, are they going to find a way to kind of knock him down, or are they going to not fight it, and are they going to go with it, and are they going to grow and get better as a company where everybody can make more money, including, ironically enough, John Felix Anthony Cena? So Mark Henry makes his dominant, triumphant return back to Raw, and I know somebody that's eating a cheeseburger with bacon and all types of good shit on it that's looking from the big cat box in the sky. He said, "You damn right. You damn right indeed. It was great to see Mark Henry. And he should be United States champion." Of course, during Black History Month, we can't have that, can we, WWE? Because remember, hashtag Raw is white. A-holes. So, obviously, you probably had a feeling that this match wasn't going to go Mark Henry's way, and it didn't. Roman Reigns' spear on Mark Henry was incredibly impressive. But, obviously, the thing everybody's talking about, and they should talk about it, I think beyond question, the highlight of the night is what happened at the end of this match, of what happened with the Shield and the Wyatt family. The way they kind of went through a layered thing to plant the seed that this was a big freaking deal. Oh my God, this is a really huge deal. Oh my God, I can't wait. Give it to me now. Oh, you sons of bitches, you're going to make me wait. I can't wait. Shut up and take my fucking money. I need to see this match. That was the type of build we got with this. This was outstanding. Did anybody else find it curious that during the whole face-off and stare-down that the camera kept going to Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns? Remember when the emphasis and focus used to be placed on Dean Ambrose first and would have maybe been 6 months or a year ago, would have been Dean Ambrose in that spot? Now they've shifted creatively as a company, and now all the emphasis is on Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. But you could feel the electricity in that building. You could feel the electricity running through yourself, running through your shorts. I mean, this felt awesome. I loved it. This is how you build up a money-making match. It is a shame, ultimately, yes, that we're getting this at Elimination Chamber as opposed to WrestleMania. But at least we are getting it. This is a match ripe with possibilities, a match that even if you think you know who's going to win, it may very well not matter. It's just going to be something to behold, and the way they set this up was beautiful. It felt very old school. We could give it to you now, and that would make for incredibly great TV, but why give it for free when you're going to have to pay for it? I love it. My thoughts on the main event of this week's Raw? Go to Twitter, @OffTheRope and see what my thoughts were. I didn't watch. I refused to. Going back to the old basics of it, I see the shit too much, why bother watching? I don't give a damn. And I didn't. I started off with hashtag WWE porn names. Yeah, it was my own form of protest. You don't like it, eat shit. I think a lot of people joined in and had a lot of fun with it. You want to join in, go to Twitter. Tweet to the show your WWE porn names, or put them in the comment section. I don't know, I don't care. Just have some fun. You know, it felt like to me, even though there was some nice stuff on this week's Raw, it felt like this show was very scripted, like the WWE really didn't have a lot of direction. Oh my goodness, yeah. It evoked a few yawns out of me during the 3 hours, just like it did her, other than when Roman Reigns was kicking ass. Yeah, you love Roman Reigns, you want to have his puppies. But, you know, like I said, it was a kind of a rough show to get through. Felt kind of boring. Felt very scripted. Felt like the WWE wasn't really confident in what they were doing, and it came across to me anyways, and it showed. It's interesting, though, talking about having fun and everything else, and, you know, not being so watered down and vanilla and scripted. Had a conversation with somebody yesterday on the phone, member of the old OTRS Off the Rope Show crew. Once you're a member, you're always a member. But he said, you know, Jeff, you've kind of started to become like everybody else. And by God, wouldn't you know, he's 100% right. I remember with the old Off the Rope Show channel, you know, when we had the Raw reviews, we were different. We were unique. We did things that nobody else did. Nobody else probably wanted to do. And for their own reasons. We were very sophomoric, very cheekish, very immature. And it was beautiful. It worked for us because we bought into the show's model of entertaining ourselves while you watch us. You're going to like some of the stuff we did, some of the stuff you didn't like, and sometimes we might sit there and give you more of it to send a message and prove a point. But now it kind of feels like, especially when I look back and I've watched the past couple of months of Raw reviews, I'm like, oh my God, how did people sit through this crap? How do people sit here and watch this crap? And I think about it, I'm like, I haven't been having very much fun doing the Raw reviews at all. A lot of the videos in general, but specifically the Raw reviews, something that used to be a staple for this channel and the original Off the Rope Show channel. I mean, it just feels like I come on here and talk for somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes, and that's about it. Are you trying to get the boogies? No. Get your tongue out of my nose. That's disgusting, dog. It feels like I've gotten dull, stagnant, boring, repetitive, just like everybody else. And by God, the Schleg Daddy ain't about that. So it's time to shake things up. It's time for a fucking change with the Raw review when it comes to OTRS Central. You see this doggy right here? She's a 9-month-old lemon beagle named Summer. You remember Smokey? I know you do. Remember how a lot of you at first didn't like Smokey, and over a period of time you came to appreciate him and realize that he was different and he entertained you, by God? Because hell, heaven forbid, you had fun watching professional wrestling. I'm talking about professional wrestling. Remember one of the last acts that he did was he put this dog over and included her in the deuces and fours? I haven't had her on enough. That's going to change next week. No, you're not going to get an entire review done by the dog. At some point in time, that's going to happen. But Summer's got star qualities about her, the likes of which you've never seen. But I'm going to do all types of different shit next week. I hope you guys like it. If you do, terrific. I'm going to do it anyways, and if you don't like it, screw you. I might just do it more the week after that. The principle and the point that I'm trying to get at here is that I need to start having more fun with these videos. And I'm just giving you fair warning now. Because I'm going to shake some shit up come next week. It's going to be done entirely different. It's going to be a little more old school OTRS, if you will. And again, some of you will like it, and some of you won't. And either way, I don't really care. Because it's about time I got back to the old philosophy of entertaining myself while you watch me. You think that works? Yeah. We'll talk about some Roman Reigns next week, aren't you, sweetie? All right, let's go get you some sausages.